Jeez, bro. Yeah, bro. So this is a Monday. So first, let's look at the economic calendar. What we got? So first news event is on Wednesday. So we could probably expect some choppiness. But the thing about Monday is when I really avoid Monday is it the previous day or if the previous week expanded with a large range. That's when I really avoid Monday. Here we can see that Friday, right? We put in this reversal here. On a Thursday, we're trading back to the weekly low, which is Tuesday, right? No wick right here, so it's a good target. So let's go ahead and just skip to, I think we're gonna skip to like 9:30 this day here, probably, or maybe just skip to 2 a.m. or something. 2 a.m. So what time is this? All right, so let's look at anything we can open up into because this is the daily close right here, all right? So we don't have any opposing candles or anything. What we do have is this fair value gap. So whenever you have like an intermediate time frame range, let's say the daily candles are trading lower, right? Then we're generally going to create highs and lows of the days from like 4-hour, 1-hour key levels, right? So if you see here, within this day, we expanded and we retraced. So this is when you actually could anticipate a potential, right, London reversal, right? Because maybe we run out this high or form an SM2 at this high. But generally, if this is going to continue, it's going to happen early on in the day, unless it just consolidates and you manipulate. So we'll see what happens here. All right, that didn't do anything. Okay, so now here we are at 1 a.m. So this is when you compare assets. So look here. So let's look at the low of the day right now. So the low of the day on NQ, it's just consolidation, right? It's like, what time is it? 2100. So what you're gonna ask yourself every single day when you log on charts, if you're a London trader, I'm probably only gonna do a couple London setups just because I don't trade London. But you're gonna ask yourself, has a low or high of the day been formed, or has a key level been engaged, right? So in this case, on NQ there isn't, right? But look at the other assets. So let's think about relevant swings here, right? You have this swing here, and this is the next relevant swing. So this is ideally where we see a reversal. I'm not gonna lie, right? Because we have the previous is high up here, previous is low. We have SMT here. So if this is gonna be a true London reversal, I would like, to see it right here. To be honest, what time is it? Let's see the 4-hour candle, right? Previous 4-hour candle manipulated. Now, ideally, I want to see this. I want to see London form the high of the day. It's just, it's kind of hard to trade away from Asia to anticipate that. So we'll see what we do here. Okay, perfect. Right, do we have a candle closure? We do. So this is when we could potentially look for trades, right? Because look at this here. We have, what do we call it? This, no wick on this 4-hour candle. So this could be a potential opportunity here. If we drop down. This opposing candle is very far away. We have to wait for that. Okay, we trade higher, so that's out of the question. Now what do you have to do? Simply wait for another close, right? So let's wait. Okay, we're not getting another closure, right? Well, that's out of the question, right? What day is this? So, all right, so now we're getting a swing formation right here, right? We have a valid swing formation, and this S&P is still holding, by the way. Now let's see YM. Okay, so YM took out the previous high. You see that? So now this is looking pretty good. As you see, this candle, 3 a.m. took out the high, and now we're expanding. When you go to the 4-hour wick, is it too large? It's pretty, it's kind of large, right? But since this is trading into a very relevant level here, we could potentially see some continuation here. I would just make sure it's like a relevant, wick or something. So let's go ahead and look at this here. Plates. Have anything here? This is getting a little low on the range. Ideally, we want to get involved before we take out these lows. But this is looking pretty good, but it would just be a little risky. See if we form like a divergence. Okay, so this is more like it, in my opinion. On in Q maybe, possibly here. See this here. The only thing I would probably wait, hold on. Because we're at the end, we're at the very end of this 4-hour candle right now. Like the very, very end of it. So I'd probably wait for this potential sell here. Let's play that. We might get left. Okay, we got left. That's the only thing. Like, it was kind of valid, but it's just at the very, very end of this 4-hour candle, right? You don't really want to sell at the very end of this 4-hour candle, but no, that was a potential trade. The only thing about this, right? When you see all these little highs stacked in a row, I just don't generally trust those. So mechanically, you could have taken this, and that probably would have been a loss, right? But just with experience and just filtering out stuff, that's I typically want to avoid that. It's just too low in the range, right? But potentially you could have maybe taken this as a positional entry, right? But when you see this overnight stuff like this huge range, don't trade New York, right? Like literally don't. So we're gonna skip. Watch. There's gonna be nothing much here probably. Well, that's not bad actually. But the 10 a.m. it's not going to provide much else probably. Yeah, it's like not too much really there, especially on ES. Like, yeah, there's really not much interest, right? We're already taking out objectives to the left and stuff. So let's roll into the next day. Let's look at the daily closure here. So like I said, with that was a potential opportunity, right? Because of the intermediate time frame, really, right? We're opening up within this gap, and like I said, if you form that SMT early on in the day, that's a potential position, right? Especially because we have this SMT here, right? And you'd want to sell NQ because you see the NQ didn't even take out this high. And then YM is the strongest asset, so you definitely want to avoid that, right? But as soon as we created that SMT with the previous high, we melted, right? So you could have been aggressive there. I don't even know if there was an option, if there was like any trades there. Maybe a 30-minute, right? Maybe you have a 30-minute closure there. I wasn't really, kind of missed that, but we'll go on the next day anyways. So this is the close. Let's see what we got. Generally when it's an expansion candle like this, I don't really care about invalidation points really. I'm not really too concerned with trading a continuation early on in the day or nothing like that. So I really like to see what the previous sessions do. So that's what we're gonna do. Oh, this is like a no trade day, man. I think I just skipped to 2 a.m. and we've already expanded quite a bit. Oh, I just skipped that whole day on accident. Whoops, why did I just do that? Alright, we're going back to this. This is confusing me. We're gonna go back to like 9:30 or something. Or like 8. I did not mean to skip that whole day. Whoops. Let's see what we missed or anything. I'm not really seeing much here. So the daily opens right here. We have no wick. Kind of just falls. You know, this is when I wouldn't trade London because we don't really create any type of protected swing or anything. And then we open up like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock way down here. So at that point the daily range started expanded. So probably good. Probably wouldn't even taken anything this day either. It's not really much to take, honestly. Well, let's look at the daily close though. So huge expansion range, right? Do we have any like SMTs? So we do. With the YM here, as we see. Maybe we hit like a weekly fair value gap or something as well. We are in a weekly fair value gap. So ideally, we sweep out Tuesdays. If we're gonna expand lower or expand back in the range, ideally reverse off this previous day's low. Ideally, right? So that's what we will be looking for here. So let's go ahead and skip forward. Okay, cool. We do have that shallow run here, but if we are going to actually long this, we can't, right? Because of this candle does not support expansion, right? So we're gonna have to wait for this candle to close. And there we do have a 10 o'clock news here. So at this point, we are just expanding again. Not really much you can do. Within this candle as well, like, because we use 8 a.m., right, for indices, that's our kill zone. There's nothing to take here, regardless. We're not opening up in a fractal model or anything like that. Honestly, on ES, kind of looking pretty decent potentially here for longs. I don't like all these highs. You see those highs right here? We have to play one more hour. Okay. Yeah, I think I like this, guys. You see how ES cannot take this low out? And then we see YM has this divergence here. I would take a trade, like maybe to here, potentially. I think I like that. We're also opening up within a fractal model, as we see, right? So it's a bit ugly. But this is where we'd want to see the low form, right? Of that 10 a.m. wick. Ideally. So you can take a position here. Like you can just mark XU right here. And put your stop loss at this low. So I think that's what we'll try here. No, we'll let the wick form. Let me not do that because it's not even in my course. But this is what you could be looking for, right? And you see it just expands. And here on NQ, you can take this. This is what we're gonna do. We have a divergence here, but this is ideally what you would take, right? Before we even sweep. So potentially this is where we get, but remember, we're trading the weakest asset of the three. So we gotta be careful here how we manage this. Right, so stop loss underneath this low, guys, right? So we just took out this high on ES, so it's a very potential reversal point. Now let's go ahead and let's mark out our, you have multiple options here. So I'd put my stop loss here. And you could have hit the retest for a tighter RR. It's really up to you, right? But this is our final TP, but we'll see what we can get here. Hopefully do not manipulate this high on here. All right, this is looking pretty good. We're failing to manipulate this high. Let's go and mark out all this stuff for you guys, so my bad. Mark out all this stuff for y'all. Let me do this right. Whoops, whoopsie daisy. This is a line. So right now, let's just 2-window it. Let's just so y'all can see a little bit better here. So right now, you can move your stop loss to break even, right? So I can't go break even because I didn't use the freaking tool, but we're break even right now, okay? And our full TP could be this 2R, potentially. Remember, we're break even right now. So this is our stop loss, right? Because when we think about order flow, we don't want this opposing candle to be created. We're also, this is low probability day, right? We're trading the weakest asset, so we want to take note of that. Right, so that's our line up there. So let's see what we get here. So far it's looking good. Like we're not manipulating this. Okay, so that's 2R, so we can scale 1 off right there. So we're gonna have 2 contracts. We'll scale 1, and we can move our our break even to here, right? Because now we have a new opposing candle. Does that make sense? Probably gonna get there at this point. If it was going to reverse, ES would have reversed, right? We're not. We might be. Okay, we did get cooked. Okay, cool. We didn't get cooked, but we got edged for sure. All right, so that's our position there, right? Let's go ahead and take questions. So let me just do a quick review, and then we'll do questions on this day in particular. Right. So ideally, guys, the real, entry that I probably would have taken, I probably would have smacked it as soon as this candle opened. That's how I would obviously do it right there. but that's not in the course, so that's a little bit advanced. But like I said, what we have here is an SMT here. So looking between two assets or multiple assets, right? We have SMT here with YM, right? This is like the middleman, right? So it's not the weakest, not the strongest. It's in the middle. So we have 6 a.m. manipulation. When I drop down, what are we opening up within, right? This candle two, and I see all this low resistance. I don't want to trade away from, right? If we're not going to manipulate this low, I want to see price manipulate this high, right? And then where do we pairing a manipulation with? Always a driver, right? So when I go to a lower time frame, we see 930 expanding away from the driver, which is always a great sign, right? So if 930 manipulates, what do we want to see 10 a.m. do? Just expand, right? And this is our very relevant high in the market. When you see the next, relevant highs, they're very far, right? So ideally, you want to get in before we actually take these highs out because this is a potential reversal point. So this is a pretty risky entry over here, right? To be honest, just because we're trading the weakest asset, we do have SMT here. But yeah, let's get into some questions though. Any questions on that day or no? Manage your trade on the asset by watching the other one. Yeah. Okay. Sweet. We'll do a couple and then probably go over like my trades this week and then, explain this. Like someone had a question on Tuesday SMT and all that. So yeah, that was that day. I'm just clear the charts to keep it clean here. Okay. Go to the next day here. Okay, so it ended up reversing. Let's go study that. So yeah, it looks like 10 a.m. manipulates here, creates the new daily wick. Right, and then 2 p.m. Let's go see if there's a GXT there. I don't see one. Unless it's on the 30. Okay, there is, right? So look here. So 1330. What are we opening up within this 2 p.m. candle? Fractal model. Right, so maybe there's potentially something here, but I don't really trade PM too much. So let's go to this next day here. All right, so this is a Friday, and we're getting 5 days of expansion right now. Or what do we got? So the week starts on a Tuesday, so 3 days of expansion. I'm generally never going to look for a continuation lower, honestly. So let's see if 6 a.m. or 10 a.m. can produce a reversal. So if we were going to reverse in the 6 a.m. candle, it would come off of this low. Let's go to mark out this session. So 1800 is up here. So when we think about fading a daily candle, right, it's in my course, you want the low of the day, if you're going to trade a bullish reversal candle, to be formed prior to 10. And you want the high of the day formed early on in the day. So that's what we see. We also want some manipulation ideally. But it's a key level hit, which there's really nothing, right? I mean, I'm not going to use anything over here to the left, but we'll see what we get here. So we're not opening up within anything particular, right? So we have 8:30 news. So let's go ahead and let that pass. That's pretty important, right? So let's see if 8:30 can expand away. So let's pull up YM as well. So YM is creating a lower low. Let's see if that can hold. Okay, so 8:30 comes lower. We're gonna have to wait for this whole candle to close. Okay, cool. So this is fine. This wick size is fine because it's a driver. And we do have that ideal this is ideal, like this reversal, hopefully. So this looks pretty good, guys. 30 minutes, 3 minutes. So this is 9 o'clock opener here, and we just formed that reversal right here. So this is going to be awkward. Where to put your stop loss? You could put it at, because this is valid, right? Because candle 3 forms the wick, right? Or the CSD in candle 2. So you can enter here, right? Right here, and put your stop loss. It's gonna be weird. Maybe, this candle here is not really that important, it looks like, but this, inverse our value gap, or just 0.5 of these opposing candles. I'm marking the wrong thing. That's probably a good stop loss, right? So you can enter there, potentially, and our target's way up here, right? So we'll see what this does here. And 9:30, what do we want 9:30 to do? It's this next opener here. We want to expand, right? So boom, we'll take off like 75%. So we'll go break even right now. Probably gonna run us out because remember, this is a reversal day. So, I mean, honestly, we could take all our position off here. That's probably a smart thing to do, but we took off 3/4. So we don't expect expansion past this open, right? Especially because we're getting SMT here. We'll see what happens. Let's see if that works out. Hold aggressively trail. So now we're trailing to here, guys. Okay? To this low. Play it by the 1 minute so don't mess this up. Okay, now this low. Honestly, this is probably where you want to start full TPing. Because I don't think it gets up here. I would be very surprised if this gets up here. Like, I really would be. That would be a pretty crazy daily candle, I think. I mean, the wick isn't like absolutely freaking massive, but I don't know. This gets real iffy. It could make sense to just TP here, to be honest. I think I will, guys. Yeah, we're just gonna take full position off here. I would not hold this in real life, so let's see what happens. But I really doubt it get us here, but it could. Market can do. Oh my god. Oh damn! It almost got up there. Let's see. Look what happened. See what we missed out on. So potentially, we could have got up here. But like I said, it's gonna close back in the range probably, right? And we know this. We can already anticipate this. So let's wait for the daily close. See what it did. You know. So it's really hard to anticipate where it's gonna go. You don't really have control there. And more times than not, it's gonna close like this. So does anyone have a question about that? We'll go and mark it up here. I'll full screen it. So remember we said, right, it's opening low. We want to see the 6 a.m. reverse this day, if it's going to be a reversal day, right? We want that to happen because of, we want to see that reversal in, not only is because of the driver, right? We want to see the reversal created by a driver, but also we want to have this reversal ideally happen earlier on in the day, so there's more time in the day to come back up here. Does that make sense? And see what we have here, ideal profile, absolutely beautiful. This is like textbook, guys. Textbook version of trading a reversal candle, okay? Like, I would take this all day. All day, every day, I'm taking this. It's a very nice one. And here's I'll go ahead and mark out the openings for you guys, so you guys can really get this clear picture here. So you have 8 o'clock, we traded the 30-minute, right? And then we expect 9:30 to expand, right? Because we already manipulated. We either expect 9:30 to expand or make an opposing run and get closure through. So really, is there other opportunities here? Let's check, right? We have we're trading this candle, right? So candle 2, candle 3. What about candle 4? Is there an opportunity? There is, right? But this is very close to our draw. So it's not very clean in my opinion. And I think this is after we take out the draw. Yeah, I mean, it works out in this case, but that's hindsight. I wouldn't take this in real time. Maybe if this candle supported expansion, I would. But yeah, just being real, would not take that, right? But yeah, pretty good day. So let's mark that up for you guys. Any questions about that one? Dude, that literally like surprised me, bro. It really did. Uh, how late into this session will you trade continuations? Like within a 30 AM sweep. How late into the session? So like within the 10 AM candle, I'll trade from 10 AM to 12, usually. What about this? Is there any other entries you would take on that? Not really. To be honest, like we expect it to rip after manipulation here. So like maybe this one, bro. Yeah, like maybe this one actually. That one's not bad. You know, it's actually not bad at all. These are out of the question though, in my opinion. Yeah, there's multiple ways you can put your stop loss here. You can put it at the breaker, like whatever you guys do. You could put it at the breaker here. You could put it at the inverse fair value gap low. You could put this low here, or whatever, this opposing candle. It's like, what do y'all want to do? But yeah, that was just 6 AM New York reversal, guys. Reversal into expansion. Low of the day created from ideal swing formation. The wick of the candle is created from manipulation, so we can expect expansion back in the range. All right, so I guess we'll move on. Y'all ready to move on? We'll do like a couple more days, and like I said, we'll go over probably like trades or something. I don't know, or just Q&A about this week or whatever, right? So let's go to the next day. Like I said, once we hit this high, your day's over. Okay, like we're not trying to trade back in the range. We'll see if there was one, just cause. Yeah, like there's nothing, bro. You can't sell this candle. There's nothing to trade. So we'll move on to the next day. Let's see how this daily closed. Cool. So we created a reversal candle. So this is when we could potentially look for longs, okay, on a Monday. Because if the previous day reverse, Monday can expand, right? It can. We also have this fair value gap here. So let's get back into this here. I really like the close on YM, right? Remember YM's the strongest asset here. Who's messaging me? Here we got sweep of the 30-minute high and low. So C2 of both sides. How do you know which side? So look at the lower time frame PA, right? Manipulation into this low, right? And then expansion through it, right? So this is just a CSD. I don't care about, I actually don't know what you're seeing here, honestly. So let me go here. It's like irrelevant, right? Because remember, we're long biased. So you're talking about this? Yeah, I don't care about that. That you're talking about? That's irrelevant. Flowchart? Yeah, let me pull it up. Let's actually go over what we just did. Okay. So our idea was to trade a New York reversal, right? Ideally before 10 AM, because that's the checklist to trade a reversal candle. And just with the weekly range, right? We don't trade 5 days of expansion or 4 days of expansion. So we want to trade back in the range. So our idea, right, was basically a key level to be hit. So what's our key level? It's this swing low on the hourly time frame. Right, this swing low. So it got hit. Okay. Let's go back. Okay, so does the daily candle support expansion, right? So we go to yes, right, because the key level got hit. So does the daily support expansion? No, it doesn't. So now, does the framework support trading a reversal candle? Yes, it does. So now we ask ourselves, does the 4-hour candle align? Yes, right? It was kind of large, right? But here's the thing about this candle here. Let me show you. When you have news, it really wasn't that large, but when you have news creating the manipulation, and then 9:30 within this 6 a.m. candle, specifically a 6 a.m. candle with a somewhat of a large wick, right? Because there's news and it's forming the low of the day with manipulation, it's gonna expand. Yeah. So since that is aligned, right now we are waiting for literally just if we have a fractal model. So all we have to do is have, are we opening up within a fractal model? Did the low of the candle form from a fractal model or the aligned version? So just one of the three entries. So if we have that, then boom, we can do a fractal model, right? So as long as this is aligned, yes, then we're looking for a fractal model. See how simple that is? Does that make sense, everyone? Or do you need to walk through it again? All right, let's go next day. Um, so I really, like I said, I like this close on what y'all call it, YM over here. So I have this SMT. Just curious to see if this works here. We're out the short-term low, looking pretty good. Let's go to the hourly time frame. Do we have a closure? All right, so we do have this closure here on these opposing candles, and we could potentially create one right here. We're just waiting for that. So let's go ahead and skip forward. So how does daily range develop? So 2 a.m. sets the low today. 2 a.m. sets the low today here, as we see. Do we have any divergences? Okay, so we have a divergence here. This is what I'm talking about with this double SMT stuff. So notice how this was the stronger asset on YM here. Y'all see that? Now it switches to the weaker one. So what we're seeing is the weaker assets that created the bearish S&P turn the stronger assets. This is what I like to see for a bullish reversal. So this is looking pretty good. And this is typically when you see this asset that created this lower low, it's still gonna work out probably. So this is looking pretty good. I like this. So we're trading within the 6 o'clock candle, about 8 o'clock in the morning, which we're not opening up within anything. So we're gonna probably wait for the driver or something. And yeah, we can't trade anything. But we did have like maybe something right here, right? So the low of the candle within 6 a.m. So since this 2 a.m. candle created low day, we expect 6 a.m. expansion rate. So the low of this candle is created from a fractal model. You'll see that. So if we go back to the flow chart, right? So our ID was bullish, right? So now we just need to hit a key level. What's our key level? It's this swing point low, right? This 4-hour swing point low, right? So since 6 a.m., also notice how this daily candle is opening. It's opening low first, right? This candle opening low first. Those both support bullishness, right? So we get this key level. We also pair with an SMT, looking great, looking cool. So now you're just gonna ask yourself, since it is aligned, right? Actually is the daily wick aligned? Let's go check. I don't think it's huge. Yeah, it's like look on YM. It's not or ES. It's not massive or anything. We can still expect expansion into these highs. This is gonna be our draw, guys. These look very nice. These failure swings. Okay, let's go back. So now all we need to trade within a 4-hour aligned expansion candle. So if we go back, if you were trading London that actually hit this key level, the answer is no. So since it's not aligned, right, we go to here, right? So if it's not aligned, you gotta wait, right? For right here it says if it's no, you wait for new open, right? So once it's aligned, you go back to this. Now it is aligned, right? So if it is aligned, then you just need a fractal model, like literally, that's all you need to trade away from to confirm that lower time from reversal has already occurred. So the continuation version of entry or the reversal. So the low of the candle must be created from a fractal model. So if you look here, the low of this 6 a.m. candle, if I show you on the 30-minute or even the hourly, it doesn't matter. See here, it's created from a fractal model. or you can get in earlier, right? Now, a little trick about the hourly 30-minute. So typically, if the first 30-minute candle of the hour creates the low, then that means usually the hourly candle is supporting of that, right? So it's like basically the low of the hour is created from a 30-minute fractal model, and the next half of that hourly candle is just a 30-minute candle, and it'll expand. Does that make sense in a way? So if we go here, let's check if we got anything here, man. So right here, boom, entry. So why is this an entry? Well, we have the 630 open is right here. So you see we're creating this opposing candle. So this is a valid entry. Now, I don't trade within this time window, but some people do. Right, and you can trade this if you guys do. Maybe you guys work, maybe you can't create, or maybe you can't make it to these sessions or whatever. Maybe this is the only time window you have. It's the same thing, right? It's literally the same process. And there's a little 2-hour trade right there. Just want to highlight that to see if there was anything, but there was. And it makes sense, total sense. So anyways, do we have any news this day? This is a glitch. No, we don't. So no news, so we're just working with 930 right here. So let's go and skip to that. So that will be within here, right? Play 30 minutes ahead. So we have here nothing on the hourly. On YM we do, right? So on YM is it aligned? Yep, it's aligned. Did 930 create that? 930, 930, 930. It did. Okay. So if we close above here, we're gonna take a stab at this, right? For 930. That was hourly close, yeah? Yep, hourly close. As long as we get a close above, okay, we do. We'll go ahead and take a stab at that. So we'll go into contracts there. Yeah, this is pretty good. So let's pay attention to these highs on the correlated assets. They're very important. Let's see what we get here. So our stop loss is below here, guys. Okay, not looking great. I just have to time it. I don't want to lose too much on this position. Okay, we're probably gonna ran out there. Okay, so that's our stop loss. Okay. So now I would probably wait for the. Did anyone understand this entry? Why it's valid? Oh, whoops. I was trading the 5-minute, but it's still fine, I think, right? Yeah, it's still valid. Oh, wait, what the fuck? It's technically not. Damn. Whatever. I messed up there. I was using the hourly close. So we have no hourly close here. We have a 30-minute close. But I think it's still valid, to be honest. Because we open up the candle here. So since there's already a C2 closure, see, there's already a C2 closure. We need to confirm this wick, and this is not an opposing candle. So I kind of mess up there, but it's still fine. There's a 5-minute CSD, so it is what it is. We lost that. Who cares? We'll cry about it. So we're gonna wait here, right? I gotta wait for a new 10 a.m. open or something, which is this next hourly candle. All right, so this just messes around here. Now we're cutting SMT here. We've reached the draw over here, so pretty awkward right now. We have another closure here, back inside the range. So YM is the weakest asset here, but there's nothing to trade. Like, I can't trade any of these assets. They're already expanded, right? So we're only forced to trade this. So just for the stream, we're gonna do it because I still think it probably will go higher. If you go to the 6 a.m. close, forming a swing point here. Right, not the most favorable close here, but these equal highs, maybe we can draw into the new day opening gap or new week opening gap. So we'll see what we get here. So we need to close above this candle here. All right, so this is 930 candle. All right, whoops, I'm on the wrong asset. It's this, sorry. So now this is valid to entry. So it's literally the same entry we just took, entry on the first CSD, but it's technically valid. So I'm not gonna bullshit you guys. We'll just take it. Okay, looking great. So like I said, yeah, it's the weaker asset, guys. Like for the day, But this switch up shit, it's still going to expand, right? Overall, it should. So our first TP, let me look at the R here. It's probably horrendous because why am I not using this, bro? That's my bad. This is probably my entry for real. We'll just TP there, or at least take a partial there. Okay, so we'll take 70% off, whatever. And then let me see targets. So we're not manipulating this high. That's great. So NQ or ES is going to hit these highs. As far as YM goes, maybe we can get here. Like maybe. I don't think we get here. That would be insane. Let's go back to the 3 minute. So let's see what we can trail with. So at this point, we're gonna go break even. Okay. So just pretend this is our break even. So let's see what we get. So do we manipulate this relevant high? That's what we're asking ourselves. Okay. Well, it's coming out very aggressively, so probably. So we can move our stop loss here, by the way. Sorry. We're gonna move it right here. Because if it is going to continue, I mean, we already formed the reversal if it's going to continue, right? Okay, now we're going to move it to here. Why ES still hasn't taken out this high. Okay, move it to here now. Now we're just basically at the part where or the area we already took profit at, so we're not up anything extra right now. We're just trying not to give back profits. So boom, we're out of there. Right, so let's see what the day does after that. Okay, so that's pretty unfortunate. Kind of does expand a little bit. Oh, damn. That's really unfortunate. But really good day there. Yeah, we just got ran out of there. Damn, does it go all the way up here? Wow, what a day that was. What a range. Holy moly. So yeah, this 6 a.m. right here, this 6 a.m. reversal was very nice. But 10 a.m. there was nothing to, or like high in this range of 6 a.m. there's no trade. And obviously there's no trade for 10 a.m. It's just ripping higher. So we're kind of forced to trade YM, right? But we expect this to expand. We did get chopped up there. So does that make sense, guys? That loss was kind of invalid, but it's kind of valid at the same time, I feel like, because the 5 minute is stronger than the 3 minute, so it's like kind of valid in a way. It's whatever. What y'all got here? So we're almost at an hour, so maybe we'll do like one more or something. It looks to have a CSD. So I'm gonna get to questions later. Let's just make one more, okay? So this is when I skip. What day is this? Okay, this is Monday. Never mind. I thought this was I thought the next day was Monday. So we'll go ahead and skip to the next day here. What the hell? That is an interesting gap. Okay, so Monday did actually go bearish on YM. Okay, interesting. That's forming an SMT at the lows. We're forming a swing point. We gapped up like crazy. That's really gross. Don't know what's up with that. Need to clear all this stuff out here. So do we have news this day? Let's check it out. No, we don't. So how's the daily candle forming? So let's go to the 4-hour chart. All right, we have obviously an impulse leg. Bunch of fair value gaps could form the high of the day. So I really like this. So this is like very specific to when the previous day prints a large range or just an expansion candle. So if I go to the daily, if you see this expansion these days, there's going to be key levels, usually fair value gaps within this, to form the high and low of the day. And what you want to see at the open, you want to see it open low into these gaps and leave session liquidity, right? Because that, now the daily candle is supporting that internal to external move. We'll see what we get here. I don't know if we reverse or not, but here's the thing about this as well. We really want to see the 6 a.m. form the low day here, because if it doesn't, then the 10 a.m. would have to, like, depending on how this closes, it's already closed way down here, so I really want this to be the low of the day already. I'm not gonna lie, because at this point, like, to resweep this is like not ideal. We're already kind of making that deep retracement, We'll see though. Okay, so there's like minor SMT. So we're gonna skip to the bell though. See, I don't like this. I really don't. We're at to form an SMT here. So I think this is the end of 10 a.m. Okay, so this wick is cool, I guess. This is terrible. So, okay, we have gap SMT. Forming a swing pointer. We're not opening up with anything. ES is opening up within a fractal model, right? So this needs to be low day. I'm telling you right now. Because at this point, let's go to the daily candle. We're trading that same profile. This is a reversal candle pretty much, where we don't expect price to expand past this, right? So NQ looks to be the strongest asset, but there is no fractal model here. Maybe go 30 minute there is. There is on the 30 minute. So let's go back to our thing here, right? So key level, yes, we are in a key level. We're in a 4-hour key level. Is the daily candle expansion candle? No. So is there framework? Yes. Why is there framework for this? Well, look at the high of the day. It's created in Asia session, and the low of the day is created prior to 10 a.m. That's good. If we look at 9:30 here, is it reversing the day? Let's check. Yep. So pretty much right. 9:30 makes an opposing run. Now we're getting a close through, which is nice. Pretty nice to see. So let's go back. So now are we in a 4-hour expansion candle? Well, now we are, right? So if you were trading 6 a.m., obviously we can't. You have to wait. Because look, obviously this candle is not a expansion candle higher. Like none of these are. So you have to wait. So since we waited, now, is it aligned for expansion? Well, yes, right? Because we're opening up in the fractal model. So ideally, this needs to form the low day for me though, because if it doesn't, this daily is just cooked, right? So let's see what we get here. Okay. Okay. I think I like this. Mechanically, we have to take this, right? And yeah, I like it. I'm not gonna lie. We're gonna take on ES though. It's like the middleman here. So if you look at the assets, right? We see YM is clearly the weakest, right? And then we see ES, right? We're in this gap, right? Actually, wait. This is actually looking really good for ES, I think. Because when you take this gap that ES is in, look how NQ is hitting the 50% of the gap. Look how ES is not. You see that? We're in the upper half. So I think I like this more on ES. It's like not bad. First TP. So again, we TP around the daily open, which is right here, or we TP a little bit past it, or we TP back within the range. So this fair value gap is a really good target. Let's see the R though. Let's see even if we get here, guys. We could be a loser. So like, mechanically put your stop loss at. This is not enough R for us. Not even close. It's like you could put your stop loss here. This is about how risky you want to be. Or you could have waited for a retest. But this is going to be our main. Maybe we're going to put it to here. These equal highs look pretty nice, right? So these equal highs within that gap. Right, so we'll see what we get here. Looking very decent. Okay. What we got here? So we're forming SMTs on the way up. So it looks like we are trading the weaker one, to be honest. And like I said, we actually have this SMT as well, by the way. Where is it at? It's kind of weird, but there's SMT to YM as well. To see that. So you could go break even at this point, at this low if you wanted to. I'm just gonna let it go. Okay, cool. This is our first partial point. Since we are trading reversal day, you really want to probably TP manage a little bit more aggressively, right? Because it's not as high probable. This is a really good day here. What was I gonna check? I was gonna check if there's a re-entry. So can we enter on this candle 4? No, right? Not mechanically because I mean it does close above the previous candle's high, but this wick is just too like nah, it doesn't really support it, right? So is there a 30-minute one? No, there is not either. Now on this asset over here, this 330. or 1030, sorry. Is it 1030? Yeah, 1030. Maybe there's an entry on NQ. 1030. Yeah, so this is valid on NQ, technically. Right here. As a re-entry. But let's continue. So let's see if we get up here. That'd be sick. So, okay, look at NQ. Took out this high already. So we're gonna trail here pretty aggressively. So just trail here, right? Okay, so we hit that objective. So I've skipped too fast, but yeah, obviously we'd close there. So that was very nice trade, right? We a couple of days showing this framework where we're trading a reversal day. So you absolutely can trade these candles, but like I said, they must support a bullish day. Right? We open low first. If you guys go on my course, how do bullish candles form? They open low first, right? And again, right, when you previous day expands for continuation, we want to see continuation signatures. So what is this signature right here? It's clearly not a reversal, right? Because reversals, they run out highs. But what are we leaving in this case? We're leaving, it's basically a consolidation, right? You can see it. Right? Look at these little candles, right? And then we're retracing back into the range. Then we're forming SMTs. We're reversing prior to 930. Why do I have that rule specifically, right? It's for a reason. It's because you want the drivers to actually reverse price because those are relevant times in the day. So if those drivers don't reverse price, it's not likely that this candle will just flip at a random time, right? So we're gonna stop there for the back test. Um, Now I could go over some. We're already over an hour, guys. Or we're at an hour. So, I don't really want to go over that. I'll go over some questions briefly, but um, would you have any questions over that? Yeah, man, we can. So we're gonna save this, guys. So let's go back and save this, and we're gonna continue this. Like maybe not every week, but maybe every other week, right? We can upload this to WAP, right? Lens back. Let's go and see our analytics. Took a couple trades there. Took about 5 trades. Or 4? Wait, why is it 5? Oh, we won 4 out of 5. Okay, okay. Yeah, so really good start to the session. Okay, I gotta stop doing this. I gotta stop entering on these what do you call it? Look right here, because it doesn't do the RR average RR. I don't know why I'm doing this. So I gotta stop entering like this right here. The only reason I do that is because I actually do enter with real life with contracts. Anyways, would you be able to trade the London session right away? That is before news release and with information only from the previous day. Yeah, so to trade London, you absolutely need information from the previous day, in my opinion. Because to anticipate, that's, high of day or low of day, you only have one session to work with, right? And it'd be something like this. Here's a really good example. One of the easiest ways for continuation days. So you see these continuation days, they create these large ranges. There's still objectives open. You expect a continuation or whatever. Right? You mark out 0.5 of the, previous day's range or whatever. You want that small wick, right? Because if you're going to trade a um, London reversal, it's always going to be expansion day. So keep that in mind. And what you want the previous session to do, which is Asia, you need it. All right, this is like a need. You need it to consolidate or retrace. And then you basically need price to reverse off of that range. So since we trade a 4-hour reversal candle, it's always going to reverse off of that high. So let me show you an example maybe. So like this. So like I said, like this is the previous day's range. Oh, what the fuck? I'm like drawing most. Here's the previous day's range. All right. I think this is the high day. Yes, it is. So if you mark up 0.5 of this, we're about at that level, right? But that's just because we're opening. The daily open is like right here, so it's kind of opening near that. But you see how the only relevant level to this is like this swing point high or this fair value gap, and you see how the previous sessions consolidate. Like literally, look, 1800 candle, 2200 candle consolidation, manipulation. This is what we trade, or we're trying to trade, but we missed this setup. There was a valid trade here, by the way, but we missed it. This is exactly what we want to see. But here there's SMT, right? So SMT is a manipulation because the other asset manipulated, right? So yeah, you would trade something like this, right? Does that make sense? But we have data from the previous day, right? It expanded, right? Is there, objective still there? Yeah, you know. But you need a closure. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you either need the previous day to be a reversal candle, or the previous day to be like an expansion candle towards something. I don't even trade London though, so yeah, I should put that. Yeah, I mean like there's some stuff that I don't. They're obviously not on the course, but we were trying to keep it super simple. Right? Maybe we add an advanced section because there's some stuff that I haven't even taught you guys or some stuff, but super advanced, like super just like it's so like situational, hard to put in a course. It really is. You know what I'm saying? What I got here? No question but respect you, brother, and thanks for everything. Yes, sir. All right, guys, we'll probably end it there. I think we're over an hour here. But yeah, guys, hopefully you learned something. We'll continue this back test. Maybe we'll switch up the pairs every now and then. Maybe we'll do like gold, CL, Forex, maybe. Maybe Ian could do Forex. I don't trade Forex, but we could try it. All right, guys, y'all have a great weekend. Make sure you get some back testing in if you can. And yeah, we'll see y'all